Well, welcome back to my reviews. And I dug up a old Corgi toy I had. Hasn't been displayed very much over the years, mainly because of the wheels, which is the whiz wheels they went to in the early 70s. Although it's an outstanding toy, I just never liked the wheels, but as I look at them now, I don't know, they're not all that bad, I guess. I've always been used to collecting the regular wheels, the spun hubs and that, for the Corgis. But it's still a nice model. It's the number 468. The London bus Route Master, and it's got the outspan colors on it. London Transport. Number 10 Chigwell and Aldgate. Sure, some of you from out that way would recognize those names, as well as the outspan oranges and grapefruit. But it is a very attractive toy. It's even got the driver figure in there, and a lady standing here, what they call the clippy, clips the tickets. And it's still got the old Diecast base, Corgi Toys, London Transport, Route Master, and a patent number and made in Great Britain. Wasn't too long after this they came out with a little bit longer version and had a plastic base plate. So this is kind of the end of the road here for the good old quality. I like these Corgi toy stickers too. Here we go again, Chigwell, Aldgate, London Bridge, number 10. That's a neat sign. Look at the front end of that, that's pretty cool. Anyways, I thought I'd show you. It's been locked up for a lot of years. I don't really have any more new toys to show you, but I've got out yet. But if you recall, I did a flea market and second-hand store video quite a while ago last year, and I got this Massey Ferguson combine harvester by Corgi, along with a lot of other stuff and parts. Anyways, this needed 2 of the rows of tines, and I finally got around to ordering some parts from my buddy Brian, and he got them in last week sometime. And all in all, it wasn't very expensive, but they're all coming from England, so you got to watch it with these spare parts, because some of them rack up the price quite high. Anyways, these 2 here, the darker yellow color, are the new ones, the replacements. You can see the tines are a little thicker, not as fine work as the originals, and they're not long enough, quite long enough to fit totally into the slots here. So you got to be careful when you're running it, they don't just flip off. But it kind of completes the toy, and makes it look pretty good actually. There we go. Got a nice action, that toy. As you can see, it's going to need a hub here eventually too. and I got a hub in the mail, or from Brian, and it was for a tractor from Corgi that I've had stuffed away in a drawer for a lot of years. And I finally got around to getting a new hub for it. And it was the same condition as the combine. It was cracked on one side and the tire didn't roll properly. So I finally got it. This is the number 50, the Massey Ferguson 65. That's from 1959, and it was in the series till 1966, I believe. I love these old Corgi. Next to Britain's, I think Corgi's made some of the nicest tractors. Dinky made tractors, but I don't know, they didn't quite compare for detail in most respects. Anyways, I'll give you a little hint on these wheels. What I did is snip the old one off and took it right off, forced it off the axle, and then I took a fine file and went around the perimeter of this axle lightly, not too heavy, to try and keep it even, and wore it down until I could just push the hub on and wrap the axle in a little strip of masking tape I'd cut actually before that. And when I shoved the hub on, it went on, and it's going to stay on. There was just enough on the end of the axle to hold it, but I'm not going to be playing outside with it or anything or running it too rough, so it'll still run. No problem there. But it worked, and it wasn't a lot of tedious work involved. It was pretty straightforward. But it smartened the old tractor up, I'll tell you that. So I did that with a spare part too. And another one I had around was this old Corgi toy. It was a Climax, Lotus Climax racer. It was actually modeled after Jim Clark's car in the day. But it had no tires. I had to touch up the plating on the exhausts because it was silver plated originally and it was all worn off, so I had to touch it up with some Humbrol silver paint. I had to get a new driver, decal kit, windshield, mirrors, steering wheel. And actually it turned out pretty good, except I was disappointed in the decal on the hood. The yellow, you can see an old little bit of the old yellow. It was actually quite bright. And I'll put a picture on here out of the Great Book of Corgi to show you the shade of yellow it should have been. So I was a little disappointed in that. It's almost, you can see the green of the car through it. Kind of a crappy decal. But the windshield, steering wheel and mirrors, they look good, and the driver came with a blue painted helmet and flesh tone face. He was all finished. Just a matter of placing him in the car. Again, this thing sat around in a bunch of stuff for a long time, and the paint isn't the best on it. When everything is all put all together, all the new parts, it looked pretty good. This thing was standing in the drawer I had it in, So it's good to replace him with him. Say he looks a lot better in that car. And what else? This old Land Rover by Corgi. I got that at I think the second-hand store last year. And I was going to order a canopy for it, and I finally did. And I got it from Brian too. And it came white. I didn't want white, so I sprayed it with a tester's gray. And I don't really mind that. I think it looks good with the gray. I tried it with a green, but it didn't look too hot either. So, and this is a metallic color. So you need something to brighten it all up too. So that turned out pretty good, and it looks a lot better without a canopy. So I did that too. And I had this old Matchbox number 69A, the Scammo breakdown truck, which is one of my favorite Matchboxes. And it was in pretty decent shape, except it was minus the hook at the back. I got it at the flea market too. So I was debating what to do for a pin. Once I got the end of this all cleaned out of the old metal and that, which can be tricky because it's pretty delicate in there. You got to be careful when you're doing that. And the hook comes in a metal color because it's made of white metal. I think you can order a plastic one too, but I ordered the metal one. Anyways, I got some old sprue from a box of model kit parts I've got tucked away. And it's in a green, so there was no painting involved. So I had a candle and I held it over, let it soften up, started pulling it to the width I wanted it to be. Got it to where I could shove it through the hole here. You can see the little pin move there. And then I took a match and burred the end here to make it too big to go through the hole. And then snipped the other end off and did the same with it. And that was the pin. And it's okay as long as you're not rough with it. It's going to stay there. This is just display anyway. But it turned out really good. So if you're ever going to do that, it's kind of a thought to keep in mind for replacing that pin. Well, I guess in other wreckers too you could do the same thing. So that was that. And then I had a Corgi Land Rover, the old 406 version, was the original. And I got an aerial for it, and it came black, not silver, and it's actually, I don't know, it's pretty big to what the original was. Anyways, I put it on there for now, and I'm going to try and get a better one that looks more decent, because the originals were kind of a gray silver plastic. They looked a lot better. This one's alright though. I mean, it's just a tall aerial. Now I'm just going to backtrack a little on this Land Rover here. I kept looking at the canopy and realized a long time ago I'd got a decal kit for this to replace the canopy decal, because there was only the RAC on the canopy, and this one's got, this decal was the Radio Rescue, the whole thing. So before I finish this video, I repainted the canopy and put the decal kit on it. That looks a lot better, the Radio Rescue. And it completes that vehicle. Once I get the new aerial, it'll look even better, I think. So that's what I've been working on. A few of my models here. We've got a lot of snow this year, so some of those days when I wasn't working, fiddling around with this stuff. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video and looking at this stuff. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.